Hey there. I'm gonna link this video to a really funny video, and I'm gonna try to make a semi-serious point. And the topic today is interracial dating and marriage. The video in question talks about the dynamic where, there are more white men dating Asian women than Asian men dating white women. And the question is, why is that true? And this video tackles it in a funny way. I want to talk about it in a little bit more of a serious way. I think there are a few reasons. One has to do with the traditional role that sons, daughters, and daughter-in-laws play in traditional Asian society. And that's part of it, definitely part of it, but a bigger part may also be the way that Asian men and Asian women are depicted in Western society. If you consider, Asian men always get stereotyped as the William Hung type, and a lot of times Asian women get stereotyped as these sex kittens or whatever. That's the insidious part of that. So there are positives and negatives to this. And I said I know a little about this because I'm married to an Asian American. But there are people that will think that kind of a union, there's a problem there because of the insidious stuff I spoke about. But I don't think there should be less unions of white men and Asian women. Actually, I think there should just be more. If things were right, there would be more unions of, Asian men and white women. Actually, in general, there should be more Asian people and white people dating. There should be more black people and white people dating. There should be more black people and Asian people dating. There should just be a lot more interracial dating and marriage than there is right now. There should be a lot more, because it is completely natural. It makes sense. Maybe not to everybody, but let me for a moment play an amateur evolutionary scientist, because I do believe in evolution, and let me just briefly touch on a little theory I've always had about this. Alright, let's go back a million years in our mind, and let's consider two cavemen, alright? This caveman here, wrong hand, this caveman here with the ring, let's consider that caveman to be, a caveman who it has a genetic predisposition to be attracted to people that look similar to him. And this other caveman guy, he happens to have a genetic predisposition to be attracted to people who look different from him. So this caveman, he takes a look at his sister and says, hubba, hubba, hubba. And he and his sister, get together, wind up having kids, and these kids, a relatively high percentage of them have genetic problems and they don't reproduce very well. Meanwhile, this guy who is attracted to people who look different from him looks at his sister or sisters and says, yuck. And he gets together with the cave woman from the other side of town. They have kids, and those kids are a lot healthier. Those kids reproduce more. And what I'm trying to say about this is that being attracted to people that look different from you, that gives you an evolutionary advantage. That's a trait that you would think would be passed on more than being attracted to people that look the same as you. So, if you continue that pattern on for about a million years, I think today most people probably do have a genetic predisposition to be attracted to people that look different from them. And, who looks more different than you than someone as part of another race? People in a different race certainly look more different from you than people in your own race. So that's why I'm saying that, I think it's relatively natural to be attracted to someone of a different race. I mean, obviously, you don't want to completely generalize. I mean, there are beautiful and ugly people in every race, and everyone would agree upon that. But I'm just saying that, if someone happens to be attracted to, a different race, we shouldn't think, oh, they're kind of strange, oh, they've got a fetish. I think they're being more natural, because I think that's a more natural state than being attracted to the same race. Now, that's not to say there's anything wrong with being attracted to people in your own race. If you're brought up and if you're brought up in a culture where you only see people of one race and you're taught and you're drilled into your head that that is what beauty is, then you might sincerely feel that people in your own race are the most attractive people in the world and you'd want to date and marry within your own race, and that's fine. But I'm just saying that if you don't feel that way, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's kind of natural. I think evolutionarily that it makes more sense. Um, but even more importantly, I think interracial dating and marriage is really the only way you're ever going to get rid of racism in the world. And I mean that in a completely absolute sense, because what I'm saying is that if you ever have two groups of people that are different, that look different, there's always going to be racism. One group, for one reason or another, is not going to like the other group. One group is going to oppress the other group. All throughout history, from now until the end of time, there are two different kinds of people. One set of people is going to have racist attitudes towards the other set, and vice versa. And one group the more powerful group will take advantage of the other group. That's just going to happen. It's never going to stop. The only way it stops is if there really is no race, that all the races just kind of intermingle. All the races, everyone gets it on, and enough people get it on over. I mean, admittedly, this will take hundreds of thousands of years, but eventually, with advanced means of travel, and the world gets smaller and smaller, maybe it wouldn't be unusual for some guy from Nigeria to go date someone from Sweden, because they can probably travel there in 5 minutes. I mean, if you get travel times down, you'll see a lot more people dating from around the world. And maybe what I'd like to see someday is just everyone in the world, just as people aren't white or black or yellow or red. Everyone's just some kind of shade of brown. Everyone has just mixed together, and you just have one race. Because until that happens, there's going to be racism. If you have races, there's going to be racism. But if everybody gets together and does their thing, there can't be racism, because, I mean, in the middle of there'll be cultural differences, and there'll still be people hating people for their religion. I'm not saying that's going to solve all our problems, but I'm just saying that in general, the more that people, get together and look the same and share a lineage, the less racism there's going to be. So, hey, my wife and I are doing our part. We've got two little, interracial kids out in the world. And yeah, I mean, I think for the good of the world needs more people like, say, Tiger Woods or Barack Obama or, Jessica Alba, or, as bad as an actor as he is, Keanu Reeves. This whole, multicultural thing, I think it's a good thing, And, yeah, not much else to say other than that. Yeah, once again, nothing's going to change anytime in our lifetimes, but as these cultural barriers fall over time, I think eventually we really will get to that true ideal where the only race we think about is the human race. And, for better or worse, the only way that's going to happen is through lots and lots of screwing. So in any case, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.